What's the deal, YouTube? It's your girl, Miss Honey. Welcome back to my channel, everyone. It's your girl, Miss Honey. Okay, you guys already know what this is. It is Real Housewives of Potomac. This is season 2, episode 6, and this episode is entitled Messy Games. Now, typically I do the Real Housewives of Potomac on a Sunday night when it airs, right after I watch it. I just had zero energy to do much of anything this weekend. I'm just tired, you guys. I'm exhausted, and I need a vacation. Anyway, so I decided to get up this morning before I got my day started and knock out this Real Housewives of Potomac. You guys, if this show does not get better, I don't know what I'm going to do. I am going to see it through to the end. Same thing I did with Walking Dead. I had poor views on Walking Dead. I still do. But I like the show and I wanted to see it all the way through to the end. I'm going to see Real Housewives of Potomac through to the end, but I just don't think I have it in me at all. I don't, it's so lackluster. Like, it's missing something. And I'm not saying it needs to be more ratchet. The storylines just need to pick up a little bit more. They need to pick up a little bit more. So we pick up where we left off last week. We were at the barbecue. Everybody was, gathered around Charisse trying to comfort her. Out comes Monique. She wants to know what everybody's standing around talking about, why everybody's not in the backyard having the barbecue, with the exception of Gizelle and her hairdresser, because they've been asked to leave. And then there's a reference made about, from Gizelle, I've been asked to leave twice now. Twice. Okay, well, you've been asked to leave twice because, one, honestly, you were talking about that girl in her house and you got called out on it. And that's why you were asked to leave. Don't make it seem like she just randomly came down the stairs and was like, you know what? I think I want Gizelle and her hairdresser to leave. Like, when people retell stuff wrong like that, it just get on my nerves. Like, tell what really happened in the situation. Anyway, so Monique tells her, I didn't want you to leave. I invited you to my home to introduce you to another side of me, to introduce you to my family, and you decided you want to come out your mouth wrong at me, and I'm not going to be disrespected in my own home. If you can be respectful, you can stay. If not, then you're welcome to leave. So Gizelle was like, well, I think I'm going to leave. She was like, okay, all right, well, everybody else, let's head on back into the party. And that's what happened. Gizelle got the hell on, her and her hairdresser. We all go back into the party. And Ashley cannot let it go. She cannot let it go. She is now sitting next to Karen. And she is now talking to Karen about Robyn's business. So much so that Karen has to excuse herself from the table and take Ashley off to the side, because this is burning a hole in Ashley's pocket. She's got to get it out. And so she starts to tell Karen about it. And Karen's just like, up walks Charisse. Charisse is like, I'm going to be nosy. What are we talking about? And Ashley lets it out again. Okay, so now we've talked about it with Gizelle. We've talked about it with Karen. And now we're talking about it with Charisse. And Charisse tells Ashley, mind your business. Okay? Robyn has already said what it is. All right. Robyn doesn't seem bothered. Why are you bothered? Why are you in this? You need to be worried about your failing restaurant and the pull-out method. And I have to agree. Like, it's none of your business. You don't need to be worried about Robyn's business. This is what Charisse is telling her over and over again. And Ashley keeps trying to justify it. I know, I just want to tell her I don't think she understands. And I think she was expecting Robyn to go 0 to 60. But Robyn been dealing with this for many, many years. She dealt with this from Juan before they were even divorced. Okay, she has been his welcome mat. She has been his sounding board. She has been everything he needs from her. Everything he needs. She's been his caregiver, his mom, his wife, his love. She's used to it. She knows. That's why she seems numb. That's why she's oblivious to it. Because she don't know what the outside world is like without Juan. She has no idea. And it's like Ashley can't get it. Even when they break up that conversation, Robyn comes over and Robyn tells her, this is what works for me. Let it go. This is what works for me. All right. And they break that conversation up, go back over, and we see Ashley trying to awkwardly convince Juan to go and dance with Robyn, to the point where he is just like, no, I'm cool right here. You go on and dance with your husband. It's so inappropriate. It's so inappropriate. Okay, so then we see, let's move on to Gizelle. Let's see if we can knock Gizelle out. Gizelle meets up. I forgot to tell you guys last week that Gizelle met up with some girlfriends of hers that are working in a business with her, a makeup line business called Every Hue. And she's got some samples she wants to try out on her hairdresser because he's a darker skin tone and she's got some darker skin tone she wants to sample, she wants to try out. So they start out with that bit of conversation. It is this much conversation, okay? The rest of that conversation was about Monique, her house, the fish tank in the kitchen, just dragging, just the most pettiest, small-minded, absolutely no intellectual value to it whatsoever. It was all about dragging another woman down. And for you to have a makeup company that is going to be for every hue of woman out there, it seems a little foolish to me, Gizelle, that you would be allowing yourself to be filmed in this light. But this is who you are, so I guess we all should know, right? We should all be aware that this is who essentially you are. And I just want to go ahead and point out that to me, her hairdresser seems very disinterested in her conversation. He seems like he's used to sitting there and listening and having just some really small little mean things to say that are always on her side, that are always, Team Gizelle things to say. But he seems like he is bored, he is uninterested, and he is sick of hearing her mouth. Okay, that's what he looks like to me. All right, she goes on to talk about Charisse. Her heart goes out to Charisse. She also talks about Robyn, that Ashley has said some things out of school. While she doesn't appreciate it, she does want to have some conversation with Robyn as a friend to make sure Robyn is okay. All right, so I can respect all of that. Let's knock Karen out of the way. Karen's trying to get this house sold, but she doesn't want to do all the things that normal home sellers do, which is put signs in the yards, have open houses, advertise, renovate, or upgrade, or stage. She doesn't want to do anything. She thinks the house is the most fabulous house on the street. And someone should just say, look at it from the outside and say, I'm going to buy that home, and then give her asking price for it. You make yourself look dumb. And that's why that realtor was all silent and quiet and looking at you like, you too dumb to be smart. You so smart, you dumb. Okay. We see later on a couple come and check out her home, and they say all the same things everyone else has said. That kitchen is so outdated. Are we getting new appliances? The home is an older home. It needs to be freshened. It needs freshening. It needs a fresh look, a fresh coat of paint, something to pop it for a seller. But Karen is in the car. They're not there in the house when the couple is walking through the house. The realtor is, and Karen is in the car. And she's saying, I think, that anyone would be lucky to have my home. Anyone would be lucky to get it as is. And there's no reason we shouldn't be able to sell this house for 2-point-something million. Well, you can't. It's been on the market for a while, which is now why it's now down to 1.8. But keep on with this. Let's see how long it takes before you get this house sold. All right. So that's it essentially for Karen. We see later on that Charisse is meeting up with Ashley. She had this appointment with Ashley already before she sort of fell out with Ashley about at hookah about talking about Eddie, and also had to chastise Ashley for talking about Robyn once again. They had already had this appointment to go to Gilda's, which is his formal dress shop, to look at dresses. So Charisse had already gotten there, and she had already started trying on dresses. And when Ashley got there a little bit later, Charisse had the first dress on. Well, Charisse was so dry with Ashley. I mean, and rightfully so. She's not feeling her really, and she kind of wanted to let her know, I guess. She was real dry with her and just out of pocket. She just, I mean, so Ashley kind of picked up on it. And Charisse just told her, you know, you gotta mind your business, because that stuff that you did at hookah about me and Eddie being intrusive about that, she said, I didn't appreciate it. I didn't like it. It was uncomfortable. It wasn't right. You shouldn't have done that. And Ashley's like, well, listen, if I'm gonna call somebody my friend, I should be able to say whatever I want to that friend. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. That's not how this works. It isn't. That's not how friendship works. Okay, so Charisse was just like, no, absolutely not. It's not right. You need to stay in your place. So the conversation just escalated to the point where they were getting loud. They were very argumentative with one another. And they were starting to say some things that were not good. Ashley came out of her mouth wrong at Charisse, and Charisse was like, you know, I'm this close to popping you in your face. And Ashley's like, so they part ways. And I mean, it was, you know, things said that shouldn't have been said about low sperm counts and the pull-out method and ages, all this crazy stuff. So that was a bad conversation, but Ashley still don't get it. This is my whole thing with Ashley. Ashley needs a good cussing out, and I don't think any of the ladies at on Housewives of Potomac are able to pull that off. But essentially, that's what Ashley needs. Ashley needs a good. That's what Ashley needs. Ashley needs a good cussing out, because it's really the only way to get somebody in their place and gather them and teach them a real good lesson without putting your hands on them. It's to cuss them flat out. Like, somebody needs to cuss her out so she know to mind her business. We see Gizelle meet up with Charisse, and they have a conversation at Gizelle's new house, and they have, you know, real tenuous conversation between the two of them about how Charisse is doing, and Gizelle's understanding, because she, during her divorce, people would talk to her in the supermarket and bring her business up and all of this stuff, and so she kind of understands what Charisse is going through, and her heart goes out to Charisse. And then they get on the subject of Robyn, where they decide they're both concerned about Robyn, and they both want to talk to Robyn, and they both agree to get Robyn together to have conversation with her. We see Monique and Chris. They have this house that they looked at. They decided to put an offer on this house, a cash offer, I think of $4.5 or $4.8 million. The offer was accepted. So they are sitting in the realtor / first lady / godmother / best friend's office with her husband, their pastor, to sign the offer letter paperwork. So the pastor, you know, has a couple of words of correction for Monique, because Monique is talking a mile a minute, of course, and the pastor has to stop her because he was coming in at the moment that she was talking to her husband about Gizelle, when she put Gizelle out the barbecue and she called Gizelle a trick. And so the pastor said, well, did you call this woman a trick? And Monique was like, yeah. He said, well, you owe her an apology. You owe her an apology because you're the Christian. You owe her an apology because you're supposed to be the bigger person. You owe her an apology because you went too far for yourself. It has nothing to do with her or her being right or wrong. This is about you and you staying in the right space with the God that you serve, right? I get it. I understand. I agree. All right. Which is, I can see both sides of it. And Monique went ahead and let us know one of the things that probably rubs her the wrong way about Gizelle reminds her so much of Chris's mom. And she started crying, and Chris comforted her and gave her a little kiss and all of that. But I think what it is that you try really, really hard to be, on point and pulled together and great and nice, and you just want people to accept you and say, this is pretty, that's pretty, this is nice, you're doing good. And they have something negative to say all the time, no matter what you do or how you try to do it. They always have something negative to say. And Gizelle is like that, and I could see Chris' mom being that way. So I felt for Monique at that time. She still is a little bit of a chatterbox, but yeah, I got what she was saying. Charisse and Robyn all meet up at Charisse's house, and Charisse's champagne room is beautiful, and it is an actual room full of champagne. It's the dumbest, most MC Hammer waste of money bull crap I have ever seen. It's a foolish thing to spend money on, in my opinion. And in this climate, I have no respect for people who are blowing money like that. No respect. So anyway, let's move on. Gizelle and Charisse get together to try to talk to Robyn. Robyn is there, and from the giddy up, Robyn is closed off to the conversation. At the same time, I can see that Robyn might be just a little bit on the brink of snapping as well. All right. And Gizelle and Charisse, they did a good job. They want to make sure that you're okay, that you're looking out for you. And Charisse talks to her about maybe seeing a counselor, maybe seeing a therapist. They give you a different perspective. They pose questions that you yourself may never have thought to ask yourself. And Robyn is saying, this is for financial reasons too. And, this is what works for her. Juan wants to be in a relationship with her. Juan wants to be a husband to her again. She's the one that's holding it up, because this is what works for her. And when she's telling Gizelle and Charisse, they both have this crazy look on their face like, that's not, no. That is up here, ma'am. That's not true. But Robyn believes it. This is what she believes. This is her truth. And my thing is that you guys can talk until you're blue in the face. As long as that girl thinks that what she's doing is the right thing, that's what she's going to do. And at this point, honestly, it's not about being right. At this point, it's about being comfortable. At this point, it's about not shaking up what she already have. Okay? She's saying it's about finances. I disagree, because it could be about finances and y'all not sleep in the same bed. It could be about finances and you go stay with your mama and your daddy, or he go stay with your mama and daddy, or he get a small efficiency, or he take a bed in the room with the boys. I don't know what he got to do, but he get up out of my bed. Because it's too easy for him to roll over and slip you the one-eyed wonder weenie. It's too easy. It's all there. I see it, and you see it, honeybees. But for whatever reason, Robyn, this episode, Robyn and Juan go to a radio station to promote their basketball camp that they have together. And she just basically talked about, the guy mentioned, he says, hey, I heard you did all his rebounds, you were his rebound girl. And she was like, yeah, I was his rebound girl. I ironed his clothes. She has been like his assistant through his entire career. She has done everything. She's been the person that goes and gets, irons his clothes, gets him together. His parents died. They moved him into her home. Her parents moved him into her home as a teenager. That's all she has ever known. She is fully indoctrinated in the school of Juan. The only problem is that she is so deep in that she cannot find her way out. She has no idea who Robyn is. Has no idea who Robyn is outside of Juan. And I think that is kind of sort of freaking her out. been talking to their blue in the face. Robyn says the same thing she's always said. This is what works for me, and people just need to mind their business. And I agree. Like my dad says, some people have to learn the hard way. Some people have to touch the pot to know that it's hot. So, okay, so that's Housewives of Potomac, you guys. Like I said, it wasn't really a whole lot. There was a good scene between Monique and her pastors. I thought that was a good moment between Charisse, Gizelle, and Robyn, them just genuinely trying to help her. Okay, I think so we saw that was to me, the whole situation with Robyn, like I feel like we're getting a little bit closer to getting some small breakthrough. That was worth the episode. The conversation with Monique, Chris, and her pastor is certainly worth the episode. And I just live for the moment when somebody will cuss Ashley out. She needs to feel the sting of being embarrassed and made to feel so small that she realizes she was so out of pocket, because right now she don't know. And to me, sometimes that's the best thing you could give a person is the blunt truth. And Ashley needs the blunt truth. You guys, that's it for Real Housewives of Potomac. Thanks so much for watching. Remember to please to like and to comment and subscribe. Please remember that thumbs up. It is so important to me to know that my content is something that you like. Also, it lets others know that you've been here and that you enjoyed your stay. Okay, and remember to comment down below and let me know what you guys think about this episode. Until next time, honeybees.